In this lesson 3, we are going to solve question number 51 to question number 65. That's the last part of ESSLCE mathematics of the year 2013-2014 Ethiopian calendar. Question number 51. Which of the following is the universal set of the expression 1 over x squared plus x plus 1 the whole over x squared plus x? 1 over x squared plus x plus 1 the whole over x squared plus x is equal to 1 over x squared plus x plus 1 over x is there in both terms of the denominator of the second expression. So we take out x as a common factor. X squared divided by x is x plus x divided by x is 1. This is a rational expression or rational function. Rational functions are undefined for all values of x. That makes the denominator 0. Meaning, for the first expression, x squared should be different from 0. This implies x should be different from 0. And for the second expression, x times x plus 1 should be different from 0. Meaning, this expression is different from 0 only when x different from 0 and x plus 1 different from 0. X plus 1 different from 0 only when x different from negative 1. Thus, the universal set is a set of all real numbers different from 0, negative 1. So choice B is the right answer. Question number 51. The graph of a rational function is given as in the figure below. This is a figure. Which of the following is not true about the graph? A. It is decreasing on the interval 1, infinity. A graph is decreasing on the given interval only when y decreases as x increases. But on the interval 1, infinity, that's to the right of the vertical line x is equal to 1, y increase as x increase. Thus, the function is increasing on the interval 1, infinity. So, choice A is not true. Choice B, it's increasing on the interval negative infinity up to 1. On the interval negative infinity up to 1, that's to the left of the vertical line x is equal to 1. Y increases as x is increasing. Thus, the graph is increasing on the interval negative infinity up to 1. Choice C. X is equal to 1 is a vertical asymptote. An asymptote is a straight line that constantly approaches to a given curve but doesn't meet the curve at any infinite distance. The vertical line x equal to 1 is a straight line that constantly approaches to the curve at the top and the bottom but doesn't meet them at any infinite point. Hence, x is equal to 1 is a vertical asymptote. Choice D. Y is equal to 0 is a horizontal asymptote. The horizontal line y is equal to 0 or the x-axis approaches to the curve at the right and the left but doesn't meet them at any infinite distance or at any infinite point. Thus, y is equal to 0 is a horizontal asymptote. So choice A is the right alternative. Question number 53. The equation of a line is given by 3x minus 2y plus 6 is equal to 0. Then which of the following is true about the line? A. 2, 5 lies on the graph. In the order pair 2, 5, 2 represents the value of x and 5 represents the value of y. If 2, 5 lie on the graph, then 3 times 2 minus 2 times 5 plus 6 is equal to 0. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 2 times 5 is 10 plus 6 is equal to 0. 6 minus 10 is negative 4 plus 6 is positive 2 is equal to 0, which is false, meaning 2, 5, the order pair 2, 5 doesn't lie on the graph. So choice A is not true. Choice B, x-intercept is 2. X-intercept is a point where y is equal to 0. So plugging 0 to the position of y, we will find 3x minus 2 times 0 plus 6 is equal to 0. 2 times 0 is 0. So we left with 3x is equal to, taking plus 6 to the other side of the equation, we will find negative 6. This implies, dividing both sides by 3, we will find 3x divided by 3 is x is equal to negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2, meaning the x-intercept is negative 2. Choice C, its y-intercept is negative 3. Y-intercept is a point where x is equal to 0. Plugging 0 to the position of x, we will find 3x minus 2y plus 6 is equal to 0. 3 times 0 is 0. We left with negative 2y is equal to, taking positive 6 to the other side of the equation, we will find negative 6. Dividing both sides by negative 2, we will find negative 2y divided by negative 2 is y is equal to negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3, meaning the y-intercept is 3. D, its slope is 3 over 2. To find the slope, let's rewrite the equation as 3x minus 2y plus 6 is equal to 0. Taking 2y to the other side of the equality, we will find 3x plus 6 is equal to 2y. Dividing both sides by 2, we will find 2y divided by 2 is y is equal to 3x divided by 2 is 3 over 2x plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. In this expression, slope is a coefficient of x, meaning 3 over t is the slope. Thus the correct answer is choice D. Question number 54. Which of the following series is convergent? If a series summation of a sub n range from 1 up to infinity is approached to a constant s, then the series is convergent. And if a series summation of a sub n range from 1 up to infinity approaches to positive infinity or negative infinity, then the series is divergent. Hence, let's check each of the choices. Choice A, summation of 3 over to the power of n ranging from 1 up to infinity. A series a the power of n ranging from 1 up to infinity is convergent only when the base a is lies between 0 and 1, meaning 0 less than a less than 1. Otherwise, it is divergent. In this series, 3 over 2, that is the base, is a number greater than 1. Thus, the summation of this series gives positive infinity, so the series is divergent. Choice B, summation of 2 to the power of 2n minus 5, n ranging from 1 up to infinity. This expression can be rewritten as summation of 2 to the power of 2n divided by 2 to the power of 5, n ranging from 1 up to infinity, which is equal to summation of 2 to the power of 2n means 4 to the power of n divided by 2 to the power of 5 is 32. This gives us summation of the constant 1 over 32 times 4 to the power of n. Again here, 4, that is the base, is a number greater than 1. Hence this summation of this series gives us positive infinity. It's divergent series. Choice C, summation of 5 to the power of 11 minus 2n, n ranging from 1 up to infinity, is equal to summation of 5 to the power of 11 divided by 5 to the power of 2n, n ranging from 1 up to infinity, which is equal to summation of 5 to the power of 11 divided by 5 to the power of 2n gives 25 to the power of n, which is equal to summation of a constant 5 to the power of 11 times 1 over 25 to the power of n ranging from 1 up to infinity. In this series, the base 1 over 25 is a number between 0 and 1, so this summation gives us a constant s, thus this series is convergent. Choice D, summation of 2 over 5 to the power of negative n ranging from 1 up to infinity. This equal to summation of 5 over 2 to the power of n ranging from 1 up to infinity. Again here, the base 5 over 2 is a number greater than 1, so summation of this series gives us a positive infinity, that's divergent series. So except C, all choices are divergent series. Choice C is a convergent series, so the correct answer is choice C. Question number 55. If f be a function defined on closed bounded interval a comma b, which of the following describes that f is continuous on closed bounded interval a comma b? If f be a function defined on closed bounded interval a comma b, Then f is continuous on open bounded interval a comma b. F is continuous from the right at a, and f is continuous from the left at b. Then choice C is the correct answer. Question number 56. A position of a particle is given by the equation s at a function of t is equal to 4t to the power of 4 minus 4t plus 1, where t is measured in seconds and s is in meter. Which of the following is not true about the motion of a particle? A. The acceleration of the particle at 1 second is 48 meters per second square. The acceleration of a particle is the second derivative of a position function or a first derivative of the velocity function. So, first derivative of a position function is equal to velocity of a particle at t, which is equal to the derivative of 4 to the power of 4 is 16 to the power of 3 minus the derivative of 40 is 4. Second derivative of the position function is equal to first derivative of velocity function, which is equal to acceleration as a function of t, which is equal to the derivative of 16 t cubed is 16 times 3 to the power of 2 minus the derivative of 4 is 0 because the derivative of every constant is 0. 16 times 3 is 48 t square. So acceleration at 1 second is equal to 48 times 1 square. 1 square means 1. 48 times 1 is 48 meters per second square. Choice B. The particle is at t is equal to 0.5 second. To calculate the time, the question has to give either specific position, velocity or acceleration, or it has to specify that the particle is at rest. With the absence of any of such information, it's difficult to determine the time. Choice C. The velocity at 2 seconds is given by 124 meters per second. Instantaneous velocity is the first derivative of the position function. So the derivative of a position function is equal to velocity at t, which is equal to 16t cubed minus 4, which is already determined in choice A above. So velocity at 2 seconds is equal to 16 times 2 cubed minus 4, which is equal to 2 cubed means 8. So 16 times 8 minus 4. 16 times 8 is 128. Minus 4 is 124 meters per second. So choice C is true. Choice D. The velocity v at any time t is given by velocity as a function of t is equal to 16t cubed minus 4. The velocity v at any time is calculated as a first derivative of position function, which is already determined in choice A as velocity as a function of t is equal to first derivative of the position function, which is equal to 16t cubed minus 4. Choice D is again true. So the correct answer is choice B. Question number 57. If the first derivative of f at 1 is equal to 4, f of 1 is equal to 3, and the first derivative of g at 3 is equal to 5, then what is the first derivative of g of at 1? It's known that g of x is equal to g of f of x. The first derivative of g of x is equal to the first derivative of g with respect to f of x times the first derivative of f of x. By the same analogy, the first derivative of g of at 1 is equal to the first derivative of g at f of 1 times the first derivative of f at 1, which is equal to the first derivative of g times f of 1 is 3 times the first derivative of f at 1 is 4, which is equal to the first derivative of g at 3 is given as 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is equal to 20. So choice A is the right alternative. Question number 58. Which of the following is true where c is a constant? A. Integral of ln x dx is equal to 1 over x plus c. We have three techniques of integration. That's integration by substitution, integration by part, and integration by partial fraction. The choice of which technique to be used is dependent on your critical thinking. For the expression integral of ln x dx, integration by part is recommended. In this integration, write the expression as integral of u dv and solve for du and v. let u is equal to ln x, then derivative of u, that is du, is equal to the derivative of ln x. The derivative of ln x is 1 over x dx. Again, let dv is equal to dx, then integral of dv is equal to integral of dx. Integral of dv is simply v, which is equal to integral of dx is simply x. Thus, the expression integral of ln x dx is equal to, we substitute ln x by u times dx by v. Integration by part formula specifies that integral of u dv is equal to uv minus integral of v du. So let's substitute our givens. U means ln x times v means x minus integral of v means x times du means 1 over x dx, which is equal to ln x times x is simply x ln x minus x cross out by x, we left with integral of 1 dx, which is equal to x ln x minus integral of 1 dx is simply x plus c. So choice A is not correct. Choice B, integral of x e the power of x dx is equal to 1 over 2 x the power of 2 e the power of x plus c. Again, in choice B, integration by part is recommended. Thus, let u is equal to x, then derivative of u is equal to derivative of x, and e the power of the x dx is equal to dv. Integral of e the power of x dx is equal to integral of dv. Integral of e the power of x dx is simply e the power of x, which is equal to integral of dv is v. Thus, integral of x e the power of x dx is equal to, we substitute x by u and e the power of x dx by dv. Again, the formula for integration by part specifies that integral of u dv is equal to uv minus integral of v du. U means x times v means e the power of x minus integral of v means e the power of x dx, which is equal to x e the power of x minus integral of e the power of x is simply e the power of x plus c. Choice B again not correct. Choice C, integral of sine root x dx over radical x is equal to negative 2 cos root x plus c. For choice C, integration by substitution is appropriate because root x at the denominator is the derivative of the expression in the sine function, that is root x. Thus, let u is equal to root x, then du is equal to, the derivative of root x is 1 over 2 root x dx. Multiply both sides by 2, we will find 2 times derivative of u is simply 2 du is equal to 2 times 1 over 2 root x dx gives simply dx over root x. Hence, integral of sine root x over radical x dx can be rewritten as integral of sine root x times ds over radical x, because multiplication is commutative, which is equal to integral of sine, we substitute root x by u, times dx over radical x is simply 2 du, which is equal to 2 is a constant, we can take it to the front. This gives 2 times sine u du, which is equal to 2 times integral of sine u is negative cos u plus c, which is equal to 2 times negative cos u is negative cos u plus c, which is equal to, u means root x, so this gives us negative 2 cos root x plus c. So choice C is correct. Choice D, integral of 3x plus 5 the power of 6 dx is equal to 3x plus 5 the power of 7 over 7 plus c. Also in choice D, integration by substitution is recommended. Then let u is equal to 3x plus 5, then du by dx is equal to, the derivative of 3x is simply 3, plus the derivative of 5 is 0, or dx is equal to 1 over 3 du. Thus, integral of 3x plus 5 the power of 6 dx is equal to integral of u the power of 6 times dx mix 1 over 3 du. 1 over 3 is a constant, we can take it to the front, which gives 1 over 3 times the integral of u the power of 6 is u the power of 6 plus 1 divided by 6 plus 1 plus c, which is equal to 1 over 3 times u the power of 6 plus 1 is 7 divided by 7 plus c, which is equal to 1 over 3 times 7 is 21 times u means 3x plus 5 the power of 7 plus c. Choice D again not correct, so the correct answer is choice C. Question number 59. The acceleration of a body at any time is given by a as a function of t is equal to 4 minus 2t plus 3t squared with initial velocity v at 0 is equal to 5. Then what is the velocity v of a body as a function of time? If acceleration is calculated as a derivative of velocity, then velocity can be determined as antiderivative or integral of acceleration. Hence, velocity as a function of t is equal to integral of acceleration as a function of t dt, which is equal to integral of acceleration as a function of t is given as 4 minus 2t plus 3t squared dt, which is equal to integral of 4 is 4t minus 2 times integral of t is t the power of 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1 plus 3 times integral of t squared is t the power of 2 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1 plus c, which is equal to 4t minus 2 times t the power of 1 plus 1 is t squared divided by 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 3 times t the power of 2 plus 1 is 3 divided by 3 plus c. 2 cross out by 2 and 3 cross out by 3. We left with 4t minus t squared plus t cubed plus c. It's given that v at 0 is equal to 5. So plugging 0 to the position of t, we will find 4 times 0 minus 0 squared plus 0 cubed plus c is equal to 5. This implies c is equal to 5. Thus, the velocity of a body as a function of time is given by v at t is equal to 4t minus t squared plus t cubed plus 5. So choice D is the correct answer. Question number 60. Which of the following argument is valid? An argument is valid if and only if it's necessary that if all the premises are true, then the conclusion is true. The following are steps to solve this problem. First, construct a truth value table containing all the premises and the conclusion. This symbol is called turnstile and read as yields or proofs. Expression to the left of the turnstile are premises and those to the right of the turnstile are conclusions. So we have 4 premises, that is P, Q, negation of P and negation of Q, and we have 3 conclusions. P implies negation of Q, P and Q, P implies Q. So let's construct the truth value table for all the premises and the conclusions. Let's start by assigning the possible values for P and Q. P can be true and Q can be true. P can be true and Q can be false. P can be false and Q can be true. P can be false and Q can be false. Then let's determine negation of P. That's negation of the first column. Negation of true is false. Negation of true is false. Negation of false is true. Negation of false is true. Let's determine negation of Q. That's the negation of the second column. Negation of true is false. Negation of false is true. Negation of true is false. Negation of false is true. We determine the possible values for all the premises. Now let's determine the values for the conclusions. P implies negation of Q, meaning a first column implies the fourth column. True implies false is false. because implication is false only when the first value is true and the second value is false. Otherwise it is true. True implies true is true. False implies false is true. False implies true is true. The next conclusion, P and Q. Conjunction is true only when both values are true. So P and Q means first column and the second column. True and true is true. True and false is false. False and true is false. False and false is false. At last, let's determine P implies Q, meaning first column implies second column. Implication is true only when the first value is true and the second value is false. Otherwise it is true. So true implies true is true. True implies false is false. False implies true is true. False implies false is true. Now we determined all the truth values for the premises and the conclusions. Now let's move to step 2. For each choice, check the row on the truth table that has all true premises and the conclusion is false. If there is, then we know that the argument is invalid. If all the premises are true and then the conclusion is true, then the argument is valid. So let's check each of the choices. Choice A, P, Q yields P implies negation of Q, meaning we are comparing first column, second column, and the fifth column. First and second column are true only in the first row, but the first row of fifth column is false, meaning the premises are true and the conclusion is false, so the argument is invalid. Choice B, P, negation of Q yields P and Q, meaning compare first, fourth, and sixth column. First and fourth columns are true only in the second row, but second row of the sixth column is false. That is, the premises are true and the conclusion is false, so the argument is invalid. Choice C, P, negation of Q yields P implies Q. Now we have to compare first, fourth, and seventh columns. First and fourth columns are true only in row 2. Row 2 of the seventh column is false, meaning the premises are true and the conclusion is false, so this argument is also invalid. Choice D, negation of P, Q yields P implies Q. In this case, we will compare second, third, and seventh column. Second and third columns are true only at the third row, and the third row of the seventh column is true, meaning the premises are true and the conclusion is true, so the argument is valid. The only valid argument is choice D, so the correct answer is choice D. Question number 61. Which of the following proof is more suitable to prove the assertion 1 plus 2 cube plus 3 cube plus ... plus n cube is equal to parenthesis 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus ... plus n the whole square. Proof by induction is appropriate to prove a statement about an arbitrary number n by first proving it is true when n is 1 and then assuming it is true for n is equal to k and showing it is true for n is equal to k plus 1. Thus, choice D, or proof by a principle of mathematical induction, is the correct answer. Question number 62. Math test score distribution of 20 students is given in the table below. 4 students score 1 up to 5. 6 students score 6 up to 10. 8 students score 11 up to 15. And 2 students score 16 up to 20. What is the standard deviation of the score? It's pretty simple to determine the standard deviation if we follow the steps below. So step 1, determine the midpoint of the scores. For operation convenience, let's rearrange the score and frequency in column as score 1 up to 5 with the frequency 4, 6 up to 10 with the frequency 6, 11 up to 15 with the frequency 8, 16 up to 20 with the frequency 2. Then calculate the mid score. Just simply take the average of the class limits. The mid-score for 1 up to 5 is 1 plus 5 divided by 2. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. The mid-score for 6 up to 10 is 6 plus 10 divided by 2. 6 plus 10 is 16. Divided by 2 is 8. The mid-score for 11 up to 15 is 11 plus 15 divided by 2. 11 plus 15 is 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13. The mid-score for 16 up to 20 is 16 plus 20 divided by 2. 16 plus 20 is 36. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Step 2. Multiply frequency with the corresponding midpoint value. That's multiply column 2 by the corresponding elements of column 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 13 is 104. 2 times 18 is 36. Step 3. Determine the sum of the frequency and frequency times the mid value. That's determine the sum of the second column and the fourth column. The sum of second column is 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 2, which give us 20. The sum of the fourth column is 12 plus 48 plus 104 plus 36, which give us 200. Step 4. Calculate the mean by using the formula x bar is equal to summation of frequency times midpoint value divided by summation of frequency. Summation of frequency times mid value. Summation of frequency times mid score value is already determined as 200 divided by summation of frequency is 20. 200 divided by 20 is simply 10. So let's write the mean value in column 5 like this. Step 5. Calculate the square of the difference between the midpoint and the mean. Meaning, calculate the difference between the third column and the fifth column. That means for the first row, 3 minus 10 is equal to negative 7. Negative 7 square is 49. 8 minus 10 is equal to negative 2. Negative 2 square is 4. 13 minus 10 is 3. 3 square is 9. 18 minus 10 is 8. 8 square is 64. Step 6. Multiply the frequency by the square of the difference between the midpoint and the mean. Let's multiply second column by the sixth column. 4 times 49 is 196. 6 times 4 is 24. 8 times 9 is 72. 2 times 64 is 128. Step 7. Calculate the sum of the values in step 6. That's calculate the sum of the seventh column. 196 plus 24 plus 72 plus 128. Their sum give us 420. At last, that's step 8. Calculate the standard deviation by using the formula. Standard deviation is equal to square root of summation of frequency times midpoint, the square of midpoint value minus the mean divided by summation of frequency. Summation of frequency times midpoint value minus mean square is determined as 420 divided by the summation of frequency is 20. 420 divided by 20 is simply 21. So the standard deviation is root 21. Choice A is the correct answer. Question number 63. What is the coefficient of x squared in the binomial expression 2x plus 3 over x cubed, the whole power of 8? For a non-negative integer n, the binomial expression x plus y the power of n is x plus y the power of n is equal to combination of n, 0 times x the power of n, y the power of 0 plus combination n, 1, x the power of n minus 1, y the power of 1 plus combination n, 2, x the power of n minus 2, y the power of 2 plus plus combination n, n, x the power of 0, y the power of n. In the given expression, let a is the nth term giving x squared. Thus, combination of 8, a to x the power of 8 minus a times 3 over x cubed the power of a, which give us combination of 8, a times 2x the power of 8 minus a means 2 the power of 8 minus a times x the power of 8 minus a times 3 the power of 3 over x cubed the power of a means 3 the power of a times x the power of negative 3a. So let's collect like terms. Combination 8 comma a times 2 the power of 8 minus a times 3 the power of a times x the power of 8 minus a times x the power of negative 3a, which is equal to combination 8 comma a times 2 the power of 8 minus a times 3 the power of a times, we have the same base, that is x, so we can take one of the two, the power of 8 minus a plus negative 3a. We can add the powers, which is equal to combination 8 comma a times 2 the power of 8 minus a times 3 the power of a times x the power of 8 minus a plus negative 3a means minus 4a. We are looking for x squared, thus x the power of 8 minus 4a is equal to x squared. These two expressions, that is the left side expression is equal to the right hand side expression only when their powers are equal, because the base is already x. Thus 8 minus 4a is equal to 2, meaning 4a is equal to 6. This implies a is equal to 3 over 2. But 3 over 2 is not a non-negative integer, hence the term x squared doesn't exist or its coefficient is 0. So the answer is choice D. Question number 64. Which of the following is true about the graph y is equal to negative 4 cos 2x over 3? Cosine function is given by the general formula y is equal to a cos b times x minus h plus k, where absolute value of a is the amplitude, p is equal to 2 pi over absolute value b is the period, h is the horizontal shift, and k is the vertical shift. Comparing the given equation with the general formula, we can figure out the following. H is equal to k is equal to 0, a is equal to negative 4, and b is equal to 2 over 3. Thus, the amplitude, which is equal to absolute value of a, is equal to absolute value of negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is simply 4, meaning choice D is not true. Period, which is equal to 2 pi over absolute value of b, which is equal to 2 pi over absolute value of is 2 over 3. 2 cross out by 2. We left with pi over 1 over 3. Pi the whole over 1 over 3 means 3 pi. Choice C is true. If the period is 3 pi, the graph complete one cycle on the interval 0, 3 pi. Thus, choice A and choice B are not true. So the correct answer is choice C. Question number 65. The angle of elevation of the top of a tree is found to be 60 degrees as measured from a point on a level ground. What is the height of the tree if the angle of elevation of the point on the tree, that's 8 meters below the top, is 30 degrees, is measured from the same point on the ground? Let this vertical line represent the height of the tree, and this horizontal line represents the distance from the tree to the point where the angle of elevation is measured. This 60 degrees is the angle of elevation of the top of the tree. This 30 degrees is the angle of elevation of a point on the tree, that is 8 meters below the top. Let h is the height of the tree and x is the distance from the tree to the point where the angle of elevation is measured. Then tan 60 is equal to opposite is h divided by the adjacent is x. This implies x is equal to h over tan 60. Again, tan 30 is equal to the opposite, which is h minus 8 divided by x. Again, this implies x is equal to h minus 8 over tan 30. X in equation 1 is equal to x in equation 2. This means h over tan 60 is equal to h minus 8 over tan 30, which is equal to h over tan 60 is root 3, which is equal to h minus 8 over tan 30 is 1 over root 3. Multiply crisscross, thus 1 over root 3 times h is simply 1 over root 3h is equal to root 3 minus h minus 8. Multiply both sides by root 3. We will find root 3 times 1 over root 3h is simply h is equal to root 3 times 3 is 3 times h minus 8. 3. Multiply both expression inside the bracket. So we'll find h is equal to 3 times h is 3h minus 3 times 8 is 24. Taking 3h to the left side of the equality, we will find h minus 3h, which is equal to negative 2h, is equal to negative 24. Dividing both sides by negative 2, we will find negative 2h divided by negative 2 is equal to h, which is equal to negative 24 divided by negative 2 is 12. So the height of the tree is 12 meters. That's choice B is the correct answer. That's all for this lesson. In the next lesson, we will solve ESSLCE mathematics of the year 2012-2013 Ethiopian calendar. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this page. Have a nice time.